course, once again, for about the fourth year in a row, was asked about potentially trading Tyreek Hill. And if you follow Tyreek Hill on Twitter or on any social media platform, you know why he's constantly teasing a potential trade, constantly teasing where he may end up going, then goes on Radio Row, for instance, during the Super Bowl, and says, everything's fine, I'm not getting traded, but then does it again. What Chris Grier essentially said is there are no trade talks surrounding Tyreek Hill. No one has reached out. They have not reached out to anyone. That amounts to essentially a big nothing. What he did say, though, was if someone wants to offer 2 first-rounders for Tyreek Hill, of course they would listen. Now, the reason he says that is because, first of all, almost no players are untradeable. But you look at where Tyreek is in his career, 31 years old, due to make $27.6 million. Hard to imagine any team right now trading for that player coming off wrist surgery and that contract. I'm sure we're still going to talk about it. Just seems highly unlikely. Meanwhile, we'll turn our attention.
He left Patrick Mahomes to go to Tua. What did he think? Now, remember, he was running his mouth. Tua is more accurate than Patrick Mahomes.
Wait, Unc, he's sticking up for his quarterback. Don't do that. Come on, now.
Ocho, you mean to tell me, okay, so you going to say, oh, yeah, but what you call him is better than Tom Brady. Ain't no sense in doing that. Ain't nobody believe that. Ain't nobody said Tua, plus his injury history, which you knew. But I go to show you, fan, you see, $30 million can't buy you happiness when you're getting your eyes beat in. You play with a quarterback that's injury prone. So you're dependent on if the backup can come in and keep that thing going. What's the one thing about how many games has Patrick Mahomes missed? That's why you factor in all of that when you make a decision like you make. You got the money, but look at them stats. He looking at all them guys that got them stats, Ocho. Tyreek Hill has never not been to the Pro Bowl. Now when they talk about, Ocho, last year the players voted him the #1 player.
Yeah.
What do you think he's going to be this year?
If the Dolphins don't fire him after week 1, Mike McDaniel might just want to hand in his resignation. How can you be this unprepared? 30 zipped in week 1? Making Daniel Jones look like a Hall of Famer. The Dolphins are a joke.
The NFL runs on speed, spectacle, and drama that often feels more like tabloid headlines than football. And no one embodies that chaos better than Tyreek Hill, the cheetah himself. Explosive, electrifying, and controversial. But after the Miami Dolphins' humiliating Week 1 collapse to the Indianapolis Colts, Hill's name has exploded back into the spotlight in a storm that could shake the league and possibly destroy his legacy. This is the Tyreek Hill trade saga. It didn't start quietly. It started predictably. Week 1 of the 2025 season, the Dolphins, hyped as contenders with Hill as their offensive weapon, fell flat on their face against the Colts. The score was embarrassing. The play was sloppy, and the questions came crashing in. Reporters didn't just ask what's wrong with the Dolphins. They asked something more damning. Is Tyreek Hill already on the way out of Miami? Whispers became chatter. Chatter turned into speculation. And then speculation became breaking news. The Kansas City Chiefs, Hill's old team, the dynasty he helped build with Mahomes, showed interest in bringing him back. But they weren't alone. The Pittsburgh Steelers, starving for a true playmaker, wanted in. The burning question was Hill, after just 1 game, already on the trade block. The football talk couldn't escape the dark shadows around him. Just days before trade rumors lit up, ugly court documents surfaced from Hill's divorce. His estranged wife, Kia Vicaro, accused him of no fewer than 8 incidents of domestic violence. The NFL announced an investigation under its personal conduct policy, but here's the truth. The league's power is weak. It can't subpoena. It can't force anyone to talk. And if Kia Vicaro refused to speak, the entire case against Hill might collapse. Court filings without testimony or hard evidence rarely hold. The NFL was stuck in limbo. So were the teams circling like vultures. Chiefs fans drooled at the thought of their cheetah back in red. The man who once torched secondaries in Arrowhead, who turned Mahomes' bombs into instant touchdowns? Could it happen again? The Chiefs survived without him, sure. But even die-hard fans admitted the offense wasn't the same without Hill stretching defenses. Would GM Brett Veach dare bring him back? knowing the PR nightmare waiting? Would Mahomes see him as his missing weapon, or as a reminder of why the split happened? The storyline wrote itself: redemption or relapse. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh's motives were cold and clear. They weren't chasing nostalgia. They were chasing survival. Their offense has been dead for years. They needed someone who could flip the field instantly. Think Antonio Brown in his prime, but they hadn't had anyone close since. Hill was a risk, no doubt, but he was also the only chance at revival. Could Mike Tomlin, the no-nonsense players coach, handle the storm around Hill? Reports said the price would be a third-round pick, maybe more. Risky, yes. But if Hill was cleared, that gamble could make Pittsburgh dangerous again. This wasn't just trade gossip. It was an NFL crisis, exposing the cracks in the league's so-called justice system. Think about it. If the allegations came from a spouse, money always complicated things. A suspension would cost Hill millions, which also meant less money flowing to Kia Vaccaro and their kids. That gave her less incentive to cooperate with the NFL. And so, the league was stuck. No subpoenas, no guaranteed evidence, and a case dangling by threads. Every day without clarity pushed closer to the trade deadline. 52 days. That's all teams had to decide if Tyreek Hill was worth the gamble. When Hill finally spoke, it wasn't through a polished PR statement. It was raw and personal. My focus right now is just playing ball, spending time with my kids, and doing what I do best, providing for my family. On the surface, a generic line. But look deeper, it was also a warning shot to his estranged wife. If he can't play, he can't provide. If he can't provide, everyone suffers. His words were part defense, part threat, and part excuse for why he had to be on the field. Now the NFL waits. If the investigation fizzles, if Vaccaro stays silent, if no new evidence emerges, then the door swings open for a blockbuster deal. The Chiefs could bring him home, making the AFC a nightmare. The Steelers could risk it all for a desperate turnaround. But if the NFL actually acts, if a suspension drops, then it all falls apart. No team will touch him if he's banned for 6, 8, or 10 games. Hill's career could stall at a dangerous crossroads. And even if he plays, the PR fire doesn't vanish. Every GM knows bringing him in means protests, press chaos, and fan backlash. But here's the brutal truth about the NFL talent erases sins. Teams forgive, fans forget. Winning rewrites everything. The gamble isn't just about picks. It's about reputations, legacies, and whether a team is willing to be tied to a lightning rod like Hill. So here we are in September 2025. Tyreek Hill. Once the soul of the Chiefs dynasty, now a superstar drowning in uncertainty, the Dolphins humiliated and distracted, the Chiefs and Steelers circling in the shadows, and the NFL once again staring at its own broken disciplinary system. In 52 days, the deadline arrives. And by then, the league, the teams, and Tyreek Hill himself must answer the same ruthless question: is the cheetah worth chasing? This isn't just about football anymore. This is about power, reputation, and risk. The Tyreek Hill saga isn't close to over. But one thing's already clear: whatever happens next, the NFL will never look the same.